today we're going to see the Facebook ads creative strategy to scale to 7-8 figures. This is the exact same creative strategy from scratch basically that well-established brands use, and time again it's just been the most effective way to craft high converting creatives. If you're just starting off, or if you don't really have winning ads, or you don't really know what you're doing, this is going to be a great video for you to basically get all those creative guidelines. Because what we need here, and I'm basically gonna go straight into it, is have a hypothesis that you're going to be building based on your learnings and based on your data. And data can be obviously things that you run on ad accounts and stuff, but also from your research as well. So maybe not that sexy quote unquote video, but one of the most important videos in e-com. And again, why you should even hear me: I've generated more than 120 million in trackable revenue. I'm working now as a fractional head of acquisition and head of performance, and I'm also obviously managing more than 1.5 million a month across different brands on my own, some of the top D2C brands in the space across Meta, Google, and TikTok, and obviously I have quite a few case studies basically. But yeah, point being, let's actually jump straight into it. Again, the first thing that you need to really understand here, you need to establish a strong foundation, and that goes back to your why you even kind of building this brand, with your mission statements and your position statement, like who you're targeting, who is our ideal audience. And that obviously entails, if you have the stuff like pain points, key benefits, competitive alternatives, competitor snapshot, market positioning, everything, you need to be very clear on who you target, what's your main core customer, because that will allow us to build the first kind of batch of creatives and start with the learnings there. And you'll be surprised, even for like more established brands, this is super important, because they tend to just follow some of the trends or some of the creatives that might be working on some other competitors, and they kind of disconnect with their core customer. So once they go back and actually speak to them, it's just much more efficient way. We unlock a further efficiency in the ad account itself, better performance and better results overall, just because we just go back to the basics. But yeah, and then the last thing of this one is the brand expression. Obviously, some brands will be more kind of picky on that, so they're probably going to have a very specific tone of voice, some editing standards, do's and don'ts. They have a certain kind of line. Now, a lot of a big disclaimer here, in my opinion, I think the more depth response you're going to be, and the more kind of flexible you're going to be with your brand guidelines initially. I know obviously most of brand owners or service providers even have a very kind of specific way they think about the business, which is fine, and it's their own right. But to get to that 7-8 figure run rate, I think it's super important that we're going to really focusing on direct response and being slightly towards the spectrum that we gonna be like speaking in a way that we want to elicit an action, not just in the more branded way, quote unquote. Now, the next and most important thing, now this is when we actually get into some action steps, is understanding your market. And that's not just browsing on ad libraries. A great tool that I use is Foreplay, which seems like that here, as you can see, just a big kind of compilation of the ad libraries and all your ads, and you can have different filters here that you can filter basically from videos, niches, style of asset, the platform, everything. That's a great way to kind of get an idea what your competitors is actually running, and just go and craft some kind of initial thoughts about creative strategy. We're going to go in depth in a second here on how I basically use it. Some other things that you need to take a look at is just do a wider research for your business. So Reddit and Google are absolutely amazing, especially Reddit. You're going to find some discussions that your potential customers have, even for your business if you're well established, but in general. So you can dive into communities, search trends to understand their audience behavior, and you can get those comments even, or you can get even those kind of same word for word angles that you can obviously address on your ads. Review mining, analyze customer reviews for pain points, desires. You might already have quite a few. Make sure you go back even on your negative and positive feedback. Make sure you understand that and refine your ads and messaging through that. Obviously, any PR and news, stay informed. Basically, what if someone is actually, I don't know, does an article or you do something, a big PR act, make sure you kind of think how you can basically utilize that in your creative strategy. And then I have another thing that I really use is when we go deeper on the other insights. I like to use this one. This is a script basically that I'm gonna link down below. So it basically is a prompt to understand kind of your core avatars that you're gonna be targeting and some of the elements and some of the behavior traits that we're gonna try to actually pull here. So for example here, like the first goal is identify 10 unique avatars for your brand, pick the most relevant ones, and then obviously the prompt is based obviously on your specific brand. I need you to act as a marketing specialist and identify 10 unique avatars for name the brand here, and the same here. And then it is like the other prompt basically just follow the initial question. So don't skip anything. Pick the avatars you want to work with. So for example, from the 10 ones, probably the 7 or 8 will be pretty trash. So pick like the top 2 or 3, all that you already know obviously are like your core customer. And then you can go even deeper on those avatars. For example, could you rank these avatars on the scale from 1 to 10 on how likely they are to purchase my products, still like to my brand, based on the following factors. So you're trying to build some kind of long-term creative strategy guidelines here. And then the next thing is basic information. Once you have those avatars down, you need to get more specific on the traits like hobbies, interests, main demographic, and you might be thinking like all this stuff are like a bit irrelevant, but all this stuff can be things that you can mention on your ads. You can when you're hiring, for example, a creator or a UGC creator or even an influencer, to go back to this and say, okay, I need someone like this. And then go even deeper, customer persona questionnaire, like basically the motivations and kind of the psychographic, if you want to call it like that, of your customer. And then one of the most important thing I think that not a lot of brands use is the transformation grid. And it's really just understanding the before and after, and how you can position your product or service to be kind of the only solution or the obvious solution for your customer, basically to solve the pain point or the pain situation. So we have different kind of questions to identify before and afters. And then obviously it does a bit of a sum, basically just understanding what might stop this avatar from purchasing your product based on the information below. Like great script to run through ChatGPT. Again, make sure you kind of adjust it based on your needs, but this is like my get-go basically every time I have a new client onboarding or stuff like that. And just to be clear again, the main thing to understand here, the great marketers articulate the transformation of a product or service from before and after and position it as a solution to the audience challenges. Now that's basically what I said before, but that basically is, so you need to position your product or service as the portion, quote unquote, the only magical solution to their problem, and you need to map that transformation from before and after and all the way through in your creative. Now, after you have this down, it's super important. It's a lot of information. It probably will take you like 3 or 4 hours, if not more, depending on where we are on your journey, and just in general, like basically how you kind of how structured you are with just documenting stuff so far. Then we need to develop a testing roadmap. So we have like 2 or 3 avatars and kind of personas that we're looking to target, and we want to start building obviously 3 or 4 angles that we have. And then is super important again that we start to kind of develop that testing roadmap. So obviously that's for a new brand, but it can be an established brand. You might be spending like 6 figures a month in ad spend. Go back to that and like refine and develop a more robust testing roadmap. So static ads. Step 1 is static ads. And I started with static ads just because it's the easiest, most cost-effective way to test different messaging and like completely big swings in terms of angles, and it's pretty cheap because obviously it can be very, very cost-effective to use static ads. Make sure you focus on a few things, us versus them, so on comparison kind of statics, listicles, benefit callouts, eye-catching headlines, and make sure you're focusing on the angle specifically. So if I go back to foreplay now, you can see, for example, this brand here, Boxu, which is basically a Japanese kind of snack box subscription thing. Like, this is a great ad here. You can see you have a bold kind of, or not a bold. The focal point is the messaging here and the actual headline. So you can see how you can have an idea. Basically, if you have a similar brand, that you can probably just recreate. Or for example, this brand here, the Wild Alaskan company, basically delivers fish basically. But like, this is, for example, a great ad. Like, it has great visuals. It communicates the core kind of selling point of the business and what we're trying to actually connect to our customer. And it has all those like listicle kind of type USPs as well. And just to showcase an us versus them asset as well. Let me see if I have one here. You can have something like that. You basically compare your brand to maybe other competitors. Don't name the actual brand of the other competitors, just how you're different basically. That's a great way to just speak to that problem and solution of where market and just make yourself stand out and your competitors stand out. That can be a great way to scale to the first 2 or 3, 4,000 K a day. Now, going back to the next thing here is, after you have some learnings on your statics, you can use these insights and basically craft UGC content. And that's a more affordable way to do that, because you already know what's working, so you don't mess in with a lot of variables. And obviously make sure you have the right kind of persona and creator that does your videos, and then obviously focus on the top angles that have worked. For example, if it's a listicle, make sure you go through a listicle format with UGC, where you basically explain all the key kind of aspects of your business, obviously making the call to action. Make sure you follow high converting, compelling direct response structure. Basically means have an engaging hook, it breaks resistance, it builds intrigue, and then it has a call to action with your product as a solution. And then after you are established, you probably now spending like 4 or 5K a day, if not more. It's time to go to throw some high impact, high product action ads. I mean, you can probably throw them earlier, but once you have validated your approach with all this stuff, we need to start building credibility and position of your brand for long-term success. We need to maybe call out and start attracting different segments that wouldn't otherwise stop the scroll in a regular static ad or a UGC ad. So we want to get those like more maybe sophisticated customers through high impact, high production ads. So that's probably a lot more into it. And maybe that's your more kind of usual ad creative that you're probably thinking about. It's just more to it. As you can see, a lot of the big brands here, but you can see it's much more nice visuals. They have some more branded stuff there. Some more, there's not just that direct to consumer call to action that you need to actually go there. The most brand building, some of the more high level brand elements actually built there. So once you have those down, make sure you test and document the learnings, both macro, so overall what's really resonating from an angle perspective or static style perspective, even micro, specific hooks, specific things that you said on the creative, specific headlines. Make sure you just build upon those successful angles. Now we're going to do a full in-depth iteration process, how you can take all this data, extract it, make sure you kind of analyze it correctly and build your next kind of hypothesis in the next video. But I hope you actually enjoyed this so far, and we have a great day. Bye bye.